This is The Witcher 3. We're here on Xbox Series S, taking a look at the next-gen upgrade, or well, current-gen upgrade for the game. Be sure to like the video. Subscribing is great as well. So, while we haven't gotten as big of leaps and bounds with the Series S version of the game, it is quite an upgrade for this particular experience, because, you know, the last version that we've been having to deal with on the Series S isn't quite as impressive as what we have now. So, there's the photo mode. Clicking in the right and left stick allows you to go and take a look at the details a little bit more in-depthly and more detailed. Yeah. So let's get back to the regular gameplay. So in the options, we have two different settings that can be done under the graphics. The first is the quality mode, which is what we've just been on. In quality mode, it's 1440p 30 FPS. Keep in mind all this stuff is very likely dynamic. And then there's the performance mode, which is 1080p at 60 FPS. So we're gonna switch to that. Now, keep in mind that, you know, I'm coming from the PS5 version. I'm coming from the Series X version, seeing the big upgrades there. So obviously I'm not quite as impressed with the Series S version. But at the same time, for what the Series S can do, it's actually kind of a decently impressive offering, you know, I gotta say. Having that fluidity level is quite nice. Now, it's going to come up to you and your decision as to whether you want a higher level of fidelity, because, yeah, a lot of those trees in the distance looking a little boxy, polygony like, and I think the 1440p 30 FPS helps a little bit with that. But for me, I kind of want a 60 FPS experience when I'm playing The Witcher 3, and I think this one you're going to have a little bit of a harder decision-making time for how you want to go about and play this version of the game. So you also don't get the, I guess you would say, fancy additional upgrades, if that makes sense. You very much are kind of locked to those two options, and you don't get all the super fancy effects. At the same time, hey, 60 FPS, you might have some performance things here or there, but, you know, not bad. If you're wondering why I'm unlocking achievements, well, I don't have my saves and stuff, because in the preview early builds, it had to be a separate thing. So just, you know, keep that in mind, that I kind of had to do one of those, hey, start from the certain point characters in order to play this and show it off. Doing the best I can. So the game also has cross progression, so there's cross saves now, so that's a nice addition. And that's kind of, you know, the big things on this one when it comes to the changes to the experience. So it definitely looks a little muddled like. Now, The Witcher 3 is something that we've actually seen very good, I guess you would say versatility? I don't know. Like, oh wow, no, that quality mode actually helps a lot for the trees and the plants and stuff. Anyways, yeah, like we've seen, you know, The Witcher 3 run on the Switch. We've seen it run on a variety of different platforms. So it's like it definitely can scale. At least I think, you know, most definitely should be able to scale fine for Series S. So it's going to really come down to your personal level of comfort in regards to fluidity versus visual quality. 1440p 30 FPS, honestly not too bad, and it does look pretty good. I think it preserves a lot of the essence of this upgrade and what this upgrade is aiming to provide. But yeah, that is quite a change in feeling when you go down from 60 to 30. I'm just kind of glad we have options, though. You know, that's a big thing to me, is I don't like when we're not given options when it comes to how the games are performing, especially with the modern platforms. And Series S typically always has that kind of issue where they don't give us options. And I think ultimately that is disappointing, because there's no reason why they can't give us, you know, visual preset options to allow us to choose how we want to play the game. So it's really like a level of sharpness detail. Do you want it to look sharper, or do you want it to run more fluid? I think that's going to be your big sort of changing point between these two options. And it's going to really be a personal decision on this one, but I would honestly edge more towards the performance mode, just because the fluidity is really, really nice to have in The Witcher. But yeah, I can definitely look at it and be like, it's not the most aesthetically pleasing of things. Like, it does look a little bit more like muddled soup, kind of like playing things on like the Switch. But it is 60 FPS. It's a hard one. It really genuinely is kind of a hard one to kind of decide on for that sort of thing. That's very, very strange. Usually I'll be like, oh yeah, 4K 60, no problem on the other two versions. And, testing out the other one's a neat thing to do. But on this one, I don't know. Let's put it this way. It's probably not too far off, but way more fluid than, like, the base Xbox One was. And to me, that game at the time looked gorgeous. So if we have a visual comparison that, at the time compared to now is similar, but we get that higher level of fluidity, I probably think the fluidity would be the way to go, at least at this point. And I really, am someone that does push for higher resolution a lot of the time, but I have come to appreciate fluidity levels a lot more as well when it comes to games and certain experiences. So, what is The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt? If you're not familiar with the game, because, I feel like I've done this. This is the third time I'm going through this, but the last, at least. This is one of the greatest games ever created. I've praised it on every platform version, especially with this, definitive upgrade thing. It really is a remarkable journey. Very well could call it game of the decade. Pretty close, if not the game of the decade. It is a high fantasy element where if you are playing this for the first time, you will have a splendid journey. It is called The Witcher 3, but you do not have to have played the other Witchers. At least I feel like you don't have to enjoy what this one has to offer. I think it's a good story that is something that can be kind of told by itself if it needs be. So, yeah, you can jump in here fresh. For those returning, you are going to be blown away, and hopefully you have something left to do. Because remember, there's the main game, which, when it first came out, I had to grind through it over a weekend. I spent 25 hours doing just the main content. There's lots of side stories. Like, you can spend several hours going off and doing some whimsical side mission if you so choose. Then there's, like, Hearthstone, something like that, Heartland. It's the first DLC is, like, 20 hours by itself. Bigger than a lot of games that I've played that are full games, not even DLCs. And that one's like a fairy tale type expansion. I really love that one. I always talk about that one. I really liked it. And then there's Blood and Stone, which I am really looking forward to diving into with this update. Not on the Series S, but, on, like, Series X and stuff. And, that one in itself is something I'm very, very much looking forward to playing. I've heard it's absolutely spectacular, so I am really, really excited to give that one a whirl. And that one's supposed to be even larger than the previous one, so bring it on. But it's needless to say is you can spend a lot of time playing this game. You can spend a lot of time exploring this world. You can have an exciting adventure through so many stunning locales and see so many unique things that will absolutely delight and blow you away. It is a remarkable experience, and it loads so fast now, which is awesome. And it does look really good. Like, for the Series S, I think this is actually really, really good looking. Obviously, dipping it down a bit, it's quite a few hundred P to actually go between the two, but that change in fluidity, ooh, smooth, especially when you're doing combat and stuff, and firing magical spells and whatnot. Doggo! So, yeah, the story in this is just really, really good. Geralt, Rivia, and, of Rivia, and you're trying to find Ciri, or, well, you've been tasked with finding Ciri, who's basically like a daughter to you. There is also, some close sorceress ladies as well. You've got Yennefer and Triss. Usually it's a mix between the two on what people go for. And a wide range of secondary characters. Huge range of secondary characters. and even random individual characters that you might meet on some kind of weird, quirky side path story. You never really know what's going to happen. And as I said, you can go off on some several-hour side quest thing doing something ridiculous, and it's all fun and engaging. It really, really is just kind of awesome. So, you've got your Roach, who's a trusty horse, who's probably somewhere around here. I'm sure Roach will appear. Yeah, okay, there we go. And then you can go off. And it's one of the few games where I literally sit there and I'm like, I want to ride around. I want to explore. I want to take it all in. The sense of scale and the detail and everything like that. It's just absolutely marvelous. From interiors of buildings to outdoors to weird swamps to weird caves to crazy trees and forests. It's kind of amazing. Not to mention, you know, as always, I love to just sit here and watch the grass kind of sway, the trees sway, the storm, the weathering, the creatures, you know, birds flying, the time of day changing, the guards, the NPCs doing their day-to-day, living their lives. It feels like a real fantasy world that you are taking part in, that you are actually, you know, active in. It's kind of an amazing game, to be a little bit of an understatement on that. Like, it really is just absolutely spectacular. And I think you will find yourself getting completely lost within this experience because it is so great. But as I said, story-wise, you go on these crazy adventures where you kind of feel like you're carving your own path. You're making some choices that will impact things. You are dealing with monsters because you are a witcher. You witch. Or, well, I guess the act in this world would be doing that. But you're, you know, you hunt monsters. You're a monster hunter, essentially. And you go off on these crazy adventures dealing with these monsters. But of course, you know, it's a story. So you are saddled up having to deal with more dangerous situations than just that. There's a lot more complexity to the world of, you know, The Witcher. And that in itself is awesome to deal with. It is such a beautiful game. It is such a remarkable game. It is such a great experience. And it is mind-blowing the whole way through. You will be completely delighted by the different adventures that you go on as you explore these different places and you see these different scenes. And you take in what this has to offer, because there's so much to this. There's so much love and detail and care and design and quality within this experience that it will absolutely blow your mind every step of the way. It is something that I will sit here and just continuously talk about because it is just that remarkable. There are a few games that reach this level of like quality, visual fidelity, and scale. It really does just kind of like blow your mind. And I haven't talked about it yet, but there is a game within the game. If you watch my other looks at this game, that's Gwent. So there's a whole card system, and they spun it off to its own game as well. But yeah, you can basically play Gwent. And you'll get addicted to Gwent, and you'll probably sit there and you'll be like going up to every weird person you come across being like, care for a hand of Gwent? Care for a game of Gwent? And yeah, Gwent will be your new addiction. It will be your life. It will be your love. And that is an option too. I tried to stay away from Gwent because I knew that Gwent was going to be a time sink, but an elf? Oh, hello there. You set things right. Anyway, sorry. It really is just like such an amazing experience though. Like, look how detailed it is. Even on the Series S, you've still got like, you know, all of the different NPCs and that, and you've got all the different boats and all the different places and all the different characters. It still feels just as lively as it does in other scenarios and combative setups. It is such a treasure. It is such a treat. You will have so much fun playing this game. You will absolutely get lost within it. As I always do mention though, if you need any help difficulty-wise, don't be afraid to lower the difficulty a little bit if you want to enjoy more of a story focus. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. You kind of play it how you want to. And it is just something that you really, really must take in, because I feel like you're genuinely missing out on one of the greatest gaming experiences we've ever had if you choose not to dive in and play this game and take a look at it. Because it really is that spectacular, with that many like levels and layerings of choice and excitement and intrigue. It really is delightful. Purr. Can I get a meow? I do. Meow. Anyways, this is one of those places. So yeah, if you're not witching yet, or you haven't felt motivated to witch yet, what are you doing? It's so good. You will find hours upon hours upon hours of your life floating away off into the ether as you find yet another quest for you to take in and experience and play. And it really is that good though. Like, I think you're genuinely missing out if you've never played this game before. If you are revisiting this game, you will love it. You will be like, you will remember and be blown away by it just as much as you were the first time when you went to play this experience, because it really is just that great. It's so picturesque that you sit there and you just kind of get lost in the details and the density. You really, really do. And then you switch over to the higher resolution quality and you go, why can't we have both? Because instead of like ill-defined muddled grass, you could actually see all of the details. It's so funny seeing that like sort of swap between the two. It really does make a substantial difference, at least I genuinely kind of think so when I switch between these two. But man, that fluidity is not something to really want to miss out on, if you know what I'm saying. And it's just something that you can continue to explore well past, I think, the point of even that initial run. Like, if I had the time, I would probably sit here and just kind of work through it over and over again, or I'd spend extra time doing, you know, extra missions and whatnot. But that's the sad part of doing what I do for work. You don't always get the the luxury of extra time to sit there and play through games that you absolutely love or revisit them. And that's why this is just like such a perfect excuse for me to sit here and just love this game again and see what it has to offer, because it is so good. It is genuinely just absolutely excellent. And I can't wait to see the excitement and the response to this update, because it just makes the legacy of this game go on, I think, a lot longer, and it just offers something that so many people can play and enjoy for the first time or revisit well. So the game also is very much an RPG. You know, it's very much focused on character development in regards to different skills, levels of alchemy, and also like variations of like certain like mutagen type things. Are these bad guys? Alright, well, if they're not gonna fight me and stuff, okay. Yeah, and then there's like levels of getting some armor and getting some custom stuff. They've taken some mods and turned those into full experiences within this update. They've added some Netflix-esque armor and stuff as well for crossover effect. And yeah, it's just kind of a really, really wonderful sort of game. I think you are really missing out if you have never played this title. I think you will absolutely be delighted by what The Witcher 3 has to offer, from a storytelling standpoint, to a gameplay standpoint, to an action and experience standpoint. Wow, you can really... I think you could see the pop in a bit more too on the Series S. But like I said, it's not a bad way to play it. Like, this is an upgrade over the existing version that was available on the Series S for so long. And I think that's a great thing, the fact that they have actually, you know, taken the time to make sure that the Series S version is still, you know, is good. Because there's so many times where you look at Series S stuff and you're just kind of like, oh, it was left out, or oh, there's a later update that they'll add. But no, it's getting the same sort of treatment and quality that the other console versions are getting. And I think that's something to really appreciate. Oh, these guys actually take a hit or two extra. Oh yeah. I definitely think fluidity feels way better for combat and stuff. And it just is, it's such a hard, like, distinction to deal with when it comes to Series S for me, like, all the time, where I'm like, you know, if we do the quality mode, you can literally see the outlines of trees and stuff properly, and the grass doesn't look like one kind of painted, muddled thing, but it's like, you know, it doesn't feel very fluid, it doesn't feel as good. It's a rough mix thing. At the same time, it's nice that there's choices that you can make, and you can choose how you want to go at it. Which makes me do, like, honestly wonder, further down the line, what kind of things we're going to see when it comes to this game, if that makes sense. Like, I really do kind of wonder, you know, like a gen from now, will we get another upgrade? You know, will it be time for, like, a remake? What are we going to see witching-wise? Because obviously, you know, well, maybe you don't, but at this point, the first Witcher is being remade, and they're working on a follow-up, you know, set of games to this trilogy. And this is something you can play by itself, and then I'm wondering, by the time we do possibly get additional witching options, how are things going to change? Are we going to, you know, be experiencing new Witcher stuff? Are we going to want to revisit this one? What's the legacy holdup of this one going to be like? We could go up back through here and go to that other smaller city area. Yeah, that would be different. Yeah. I think that'd be a great idea. That would be a splendid idea. Anyways, I really do think that this is something, though, that is just such a definitive experience, like a game of the decade. Something that, like, offers unlimited winding quests event. Maybe not unlimited, maybe that's a strong word, but it feels endless. It feels large. It feels like one of the most expansive, you know, kind of RPG games that exist out there. And it's great to see that it keeps getting the care and the love that it definitely, genuinely does deserve. Because it is so well crafted, and it is something that you can just lose yourself to. And it's a nice idea, at least I think it is, that there's going to be more people that can come in and they can experience this game, you know, for the first time. They can see what it has to offer, and they can play around, and they can do all the great things that I did, and have a fun time, hopefully, doing so. Because I really do think it is that great of a game, like storytelling-wise, gameplay-wise, mechanics-wise. I think you can have so much fun in this one. Oh, look, he was standing at attention for me to come and get him. Oh, what's going on here? Uh-oh. I wasn't expecting this. That it? Ah, cinematics. Well, not really cinematics, but, you know, story bits. The area has been liberated and the population has returned. Oh. That's all I had to do, is just kill a couple. I feel like they could have killed all that stuff, right? Right? Am I crazy for thinking they could have easily killed all that stuff by themselves and didn't really need a Witcher to come in and kill like 5 swamp creatures? I'm a little surprised by that. You want the Witcher to come and help you. Well, this Witcher would rather just watch. Okay, I think I might have hurt some of the regular people. That guy got a double kill? Bro, you don't even need me. You don't even need me.
You get your coins worth, even less. Thank you, Witcher. Where would I be without you?
Apparently stabbing those 2 guys.
Didn't get the chance, thank the gods.
Wow.
You cut down, waited until we passed the last settlements, then attacked.
Praise to them.
I made sure the scoundrels were well armed. We stood no chance against them.
Hiring thugs? Not a good idea these days. Need someone you can trust to guard a caravan.
I cannot afford to enlist anyone permanently.
Where'd you find these men?
Former Temerian soldiers, they claim to be. Of all people, I thought they'd know the trade.
Knew it all too well, in a way.
Thank you. Please, This was to be theirs at our destination. Now it's yours.
Thanks. Didn't see that coming. Good luck with your wagon. I don't even know where my horse went. Roach. Good, Roach.
Go, go.
So yeah. You never know what kind of weird adventure you're gonna... Could you get going there, Roach, and stop doing your, you know, up thing or whatever? This horse sometimes, I swear, like... You know what I mean? It's like, Roach, what are you doing, Roach? But as I was saying before, I kept getting distracted by the fact that, you know, I keep having to save people's lives. There's a lot that you can do in this game across your experiences. There's a lot that can, you know, continue to surprise you. There's lots of little side adventures. There's lots of characters that have different actual stories to them. It feels as though each encounter is actually set up to be a unique encounter, a unique scenario, different enemies, different forces, different situations that you have to deal with and find out and come across.
Just destroy it.
Well, that's kind of a cool statue. Gonna blow up. Oh, okay, yeah. Well, there that goes, right? Those ghoul nests. Oh, look, there's loot too. Never can get enough loot, am I right? But the adventure is yours. The adventure is one that you craft through your experiences and your journey. And I just sit here and I eagerly await further witching opportunities. I mean, I do have Blood and Wine ahead of me at the current time. And I am so genuinely excited to do that sort of thing. I honestly just cannot wait to go out there and play that DLC and experience the story of it and whatnot. It's gonna be a great time. That's the biggest thing, is it's just gonna be an excellent, exciting experience for me to have. I can't wait to dive into more opportunities and stuff like that. It really does look picturesque though. Like every step of the way in this game, there's like some kind of, you know what I mean? Just like the sense of scale and the backdrop is just so cool. You really do feel like you're in a lively, living place. I can't do that right now. Why not? There's no enemies nearby. Is it because I was in motion? Is it because I'm on my horse? It might be because I'm on my horse. Sorry, Roach. You're gonna have to, like, I don't know, meander off or whatever. Go to the ether or wherever it is that you go for whatever amount of time it is for me to do the stuff I do. Strong alcohol was used to replenish stuff? Okay. Well, that's interesting. Dun 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 dun. But yeah, no, I'd say the Series S version kind of delivers, at least for me. You know, it's pretty fun to play. It should be an upgrade for everyone that is, you know, has been playing with the existing version. What's at the end of this road here, actually? That's like a neat little castle area.
Go, go.
That maybe we're taking a look at. But yeah, you are getting an improvement. You are getting a better version of the game. You are going to have to make a choice on your performance modes. I hope this kind of maybe gave you context into, like, deciding which one you want to go with, which one might be the best for you, because, yeah, you get choice, which is nice. It's not the best for everyone. Not everyone loves choice, but, you know, I do think it's a really good thing when you can sit here and you can be like, oh, do I want something that looks a little bit more visually impressive? Or do I want something that, you know, kind of feels a little bit more fluid when I'm fighting or doing stuff? It's, you know, kind of up to you. I still think the characters look really good when they're doing their chatting points regardless, so kind of a mixed bag on your opportunities for the Series S, but either way, it is an adventure that you will have a blast with revisiting and jumping into, because The Witcher 3 is just an absolute marvel of gaming. And I really wish that we had lots more gamings like it, because, you know, there's lots of great games out there, but I don't know. I think few actually provide this level of quality and detail and excitement that, The Witcher 3 just absolutely delivers.